Hey, what's up, friends? How you doing? It's your pal Dave up on the job site. It's been another minute since I checked in with you guys. The guys have been hard at work. Lots of stuff going on to keep this G rated. There's another S word I would probably prefer to use right there. But, hey, bird's nest right up there. Just saw these little birdies flying out of there. Now, I don't think they're going to be very happy for very long because that's where we're doing plumbing. Here, let me swing around so you can see. Look at all this plumbing that's gotten done. It's Friday, the 21st of March, and Noel and his buddy have been working hard, definitely. Making some changes around here. It seems like that's always the case. Nothing that we really haven't discussed before, but I got my work cut out this weekend. I'm going to come over here, sand all this crap off. Kind of bummed that they didn't cover this when they did the mud work up here. I mean, it'll come right off. It's just work that I really don't need to do. You know, I got to kind of blast it off of here too and get this sucker ready, because I gave my notice yesterday at my other place. So I'm moving in here in, a month and 10 days. Wow, look at this progress. Holy crap, this is looking really good. Look at that roof, ceiling, I should say. That is looking nice, ready to paint, just about. I haven't come up here yet today, so this is all new to me. More frustration because of that ass Roberto, who, here, let me zoom out a little so you can get the wide look. There we go. He didn't think to do like any plumbing in the walls before they finished it off and did the texturing. I mean, it's not the end of the world. You just have to cut into it. But it's like, dude, you're supposed to be a professional. You should have done this stuff. Before, so we're not dealing with it now, but we are dealing with it now, and that's just the way it's going to be. I think originally that was going to be the drain hole, but I think now it's right over here. So I think we're just going to cover that with some tile. I bought a bunch of tile today. I could only get half of it over here. It's too heavy for my little Jeep, and I didn't want to try and overload it. So I was like, yeah, that's cool. So got our little toilet drain right there, and then tucked back in there. That's where the water's coming in. But got all that done. What is he working on here? Why hasn't he finished that? I know there's a good reason. I mean, all the electrical is pretty much ready right there. But I don't know. I'm sure he's got a good reason. He's been working hard on everything else, because that's not done yet either. I'm pretty sure we've still got more sheetrock downstairs to get it done. Here was another thing that had to get done correctly, was all the electrical had to be rewired. I mean, it was literally used wire that he was using. There's a bunch of it right down there in that pile. It's not terrible. It's like we can use it in some other places, but it just wasn't. And then he'd done way too many junctions into one location. So we had to rewire a few things. It does look like there's still a little bit more to do. Obviously, we bought the new breaker box. They just haven't put it in yet. I think we need the electrician for one more day to finish off some of this stuff. That's probably why he hasn't gotten the rest of the sheetrock up there. But all of these cross pieces here, those are designed to hold the sheetrock. So that's pretty easy once we get around to it. Guys have been making great progress on demoing the staircase. Just a handful left. I brought him up some more cutting blades, but I didn't get him back up here till about 2, and then they had to get out of here at 4. So I don't think he's made any progress since the other day, but we'll get it there. I really wish we could have taken this down in one piece and reused it somewhere, but that's just pretty unrealistic. The thing weighs a freaking ton, probably a couple tons to be exact. I mean, those are all really dense concrete right there, and totally surrounded by metal, so a little unrealistic to try and bring that thing down in one piece. That's okay. So sink's going to be here. This will just be counter space here. Fridge will be there in that corner. But yeah, this is going to be my place. You know, originally my plan was to get all these suckers rented and everything, but you know, I pay $1,100 a month in rent, and it's going to be a little while before the other two are done. I didn't really want to rent this out while there was a construction zone downstairs. So this is going to be my place, which actually makes it a little bit easier because I don't have to furnish everything. I've got a bunch of furniture already. So, you know, have my bed here and set up a couch and my recliner over there, and TV will go against that wall right there. And this will be a closet over there, so I need to, still need to get some closet doors. There's still a bunch of stuff on the list, but we're getting it done. I have to come up here and clean up a bunch of this crap here too. Again, just would have been a lot easier without, if we just covered it with some plastic. We will not do that again for the next part of it. Beautiful afternoon, huh? It's just before 5. Got the doggies in the car. We're gonna head to the beach here in just a minute. But let's go back down here. There's the tile I picked up today. That's just half of it. I'll get the rest of it. Okay, he definitely still has plenty more sheetrock there and materials for whatever he needs for the for finishing off the ceiling. Oh, hey, they're doing some excavating over here. Let's go take a look at this. So this is where the, you know, all this extra paint. It's always good to have extra paint, but damn, I spent a fortune on that stuff. I mean, some of these are absolutely 100% full. So, oh well. Okay. So there's our water input right there. So it comes up to there. So guys are working hard on it. I don't know why that's cut in. Oh sure, of course I do. That's for more electrical, I believe, because that's where the kitchen sink is over there. But the water comes onto the property right there, right where they see that little spigot. Here, I'll zoom back in here. We don't need to go totally wide. There we go. So that's where the water comes onto the property. So then it'll come up inside that post right there and then into the kitchen. So yeah, working hard on getting that done. That's good to see. I'm going to be back up here tomorrow moving some stuff around and, like I said, cleaning up the staircase. That shouldn't take too long. But that pile of dirt that's still sitting right there, I started working on that last weekend. It's a bigger pile of dirt than you might think. But I was making some progress on it. It just makes it really hard to drive back here. You can see that I kind of had to go into four-wheel drive to get up and over that thing when I came to drop off the tile earlier today. So it'll just be nice when that's all done, and then we can kind of work on making this a nicer entry point right here. So yeah, starting May 1st, this is going to be my new home right here, come hell or high water. We're getting real close. The windows should be, we're waiting for them. They've been ordered and everything, so I better check with Christian, see how that's coming, make sure that they're not forgetting about us or anything. Yeah, I moved all the old railings. The railings had been leaned up way over there against the far fence. I moved them all over to here. These are the railings that we'll reuse for the other two cabinas here. So here's the plan as it stands today. I'm going to live in that first one there, and I'm going to rent out these other two. Had a great conversation with my friend down the hill, Kelly Limehouse. She's awesome. She's built something like 30-something properties here in Costa Rica. And, you know, I was feeling a little bummed out the other day at just about the progress of everything, and she and I had a nice sit down, and I think we came up with a great plan of action. You know, I think I told you that I wanted to do this as another house here. I mean, this is a pretty big piece of property here. Watch how long it takes me to walk all the way across this at a decent pace here. So, you know, initially my thought was, well, I've had several thoughts, but the latest one had been kind of doing a U-shaped property like this with an open Ramada right there so you can really see the view. But here, let's zoom back out again. There, that's nice. But you know, I can do that in the future. What Kelly suggested and what I wholeheartedly agreed with is that this should just be an event center right now. So I still want to do the Ramada along here. And what I mean by that is like an open air space. It'll be covered, and we'll do something natural with like the natural like palm frond roofs and the local sourced wood and all of that. Make it look really cool and natural. I still want to do a kitchen over here and then an upstairs seating area so that when we are having parties, there will be like a catering kitchen right there. Then we can offer this up to other restaurants. You know, Kelly pointed out the fact, I did want to do a little restaurant right there at one point. She said, unfortunately this area is just not zoned for that. You're going to probably catch some heat for it. But if we just do a catering kitchen and we're just hosting parties, let's say some high-end chef from San Jose wants to have you know, a special weekend or something like that where he comes up here and he takes over our kitchen and just opens this up to reservations only, to, you know, invite only. We can host that really easily. So again, remember this fence here is just here for construction. In fact, even a whole bunch of this fence here is just here for construction. When you look on the other side, you see that there's still a fair amount of ground. If we did a retaining wall that came up there from the street, we'd be able to recapture a lot of flat space along here, you know, and all along there. So don't be misled by this fence. This fence won't stay. Once we get the event center done, we'll do something low. So, you know, you're able to really enjoy this view and you're not looking through this kind of crap. But then remember too that on the other side of this fence, it continues. You know, I've got this little peninsula of land right here. So looking back here, again, if we've got this Ramada here, and then basically where I'm standing, I'd probably be somewhere in the middle of the kitchen or something. Then having the upstairs like a rooftop deck, then you're able to capture the views all the way around. I mean, how beautiful is that? You know, I was really bummed when I realized we had to take down the rooftop deck for the first cabina, but it just wasn't engineered right, and it was just too wobbly, and the amount of work we would have had to do. In hindsight, now that I'm thinking, well, I would live there and I would enjoy the rooftop deck. Honestly, I probably wouldn't be up there that much, but it would have cost a lot and been a big pain in the ass to retrofit it and make it strong. So we said bag it and we took it down, and we were able to reuse a bunch of the materials, so it's not the end of the world. But this is the plan here. So this will all be where I'm walking right here will most likely be more Ramada space. And then if you remember, there's this little finger of land that goes down right here. I thought that would be a cool spot to still do a little trail down to a little gazebo. I mean, it would be hard to call it a trail, but it's about 15-20 yards down to the end of that point right there where I could put a gazebo down in that area. It's a lot easier to see when it's not so overgrown, but we're not going to worry about that today. But the nice thing about this plan is it's much more affordable. So I'll bang out those 2 more cabinas, and those will be short-term rentals. Having talked to Kelly, she thinks those are going to do great. She's got a 1-bedroom and a 2-bedroom short-term rental like Airbnb. And surprisingly, she said that the 1-bedroom is way, way more popular. It's rented out like 90% of the time, whereas the 2-bedroom, maybe like 40 to 50% of the time. So it's hard to find a 1-bedroom house. And when you think about those spaces and how nice and open and big that is, I mean, and then of course that amazing view, that's pretty appealing. So those will probably go for about $200 to $300 a night, depending on the time of the season. So we'll keep those 2 as rentals. We're going to conjoin the roof. So that'll keep the municipality happy. You know, technically some of the stuff that we've done over here is not exactly correct. It's correctable though, which is nice. So that seems to be the plan right now, and thank God for parents. You know, I'm very, very fortunate. I got some really, really supportive parents. You know, my dad and my bonus mom, Barb, they've given me a substantial loan to finish all this. I mean, this was originally all within my budget, but then it went behind schedule and over budget, and they've kicked in a lot to help me with this. Well, a lot in my book. And then my mom, she and I are actually going to go in on a partnership on this, where we're going to profit share and have this together. I'm not asking her for a loan. I'm asking her to invest in this with me, because being able to host weddings and birthday parties and things like that, or corporate retreats up here, there's just nothing like this anywhere in the area. So I think this will be a really popular spot. I've had a number of people who have been very supportive of that idea. And of course, all this ugly, crappy fencing will come down too, so you're really able to enjoy the view when you're up here. And then so my vision here is we'll kind of have a walkway down the middle to the Ramada, so that when you're doing a wedding, you know, you're kind of walking that way, or maybe it'll be more that way towards the sunset a little bit more. I don't know. So imagine if we're right here on this line, and you're looking down here, and you know there's the Ramada there at the end, make it really pretty, peaked roof and everything. So then you're holding the ceremony in there, and even though this will be mostly open landscape, do some beautiful landscaping in here. We can do some of those big triangular fabric things that you see to create some shade and everything, so people aren't just baking up here. Do them nice and tall, make them look kind of pretty built in. That's all fun stuff, and that's pretty inexpensive. So that's the plan. At least for March 21st, that's the plan. So you know, I've been really humbled by this project. It's really kicked my ass. You know, this last week I was about ready just to say screw it. Let me just sell all this and move on to something else. Move to the Philippines or something. But I really love Costa Rica. I mean, I've got so many great friends here, and it's really a beautiful spot. I don't want to leave, so I'm not gonna. So I think that's gonna do it for a Friday. You know, we still have the opportunity to do the glamping along this side if we want to. If you remember, I've got the land all the way from, turn around so you can see where I'm pointing, from over here all the way down there to where you see the electrical pole. So doing a deck right along here, doing a deck here, and then doing some glamping tents right along here. That's not illegal because it's just a deck, and tents are temporary structures. So nobody will give me any grief at the municipality about doing that. But you know, that just extends the offer a little bit more lodging, more opportunities for lodging for people. You know, not trying to make $1 million off of this. I would just like to develop it properly, make it into something that's really a great piece of property and will totally sustain me. I mean, I'm a simple guy, you know, I don't drink or anything like that, so it's pretty inexpensive for me to live here. But I just have this vision for this property, so it's not about making money, it's about doing something cool. Anyway, the dogs are getting anxious. Better head down to the beach. Okay, guys, thanks for listening. This was kind of a long one, but it had been a while since we checked in. So to be continued. Wish me luck. I really appreciate all your support. And if you got any comments for me, let me know. I'm totally open for any suggestions. Okay, ciao.